Welcome to Retalk Live, the show where we talk about all the latest movie and TV news, movie reviews as well. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Casey. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Lots of great stuff to talk about here today, and we'll be joining. Alex will be joining us today for our show talking about Army of the Dead and Marvel stuff, and there are a lot of topics today. And then we also have to talk about the new movie Cruella. So let's give a warm welcome to Alex.
Yeah, Alex, lawyer by day, Chester by night. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, good to see you. We were all watching Zack Snyder, of course. He was on a stream with Okoye, a Twitch stream. They watched Army of the Dead, and there was a Q&A with Zack after. So that was pretty good. You were watching that as well?
Of course it was.
But got loads to talk about, so we'll get into the first topic. And the first one is Superman and Lois, which is a show that me and Alex love. And Krypton Cage.
I refuse to watch it.
Casey, can you tell?
Why?
You just tell us briefly why you will not watch Superman, even though it has great reviews and everyone is talking so good about it. Casey?
Yes.
Yeah, see? Is there a reason why?
Well,
You tell us why you don't
look.
watch it.
I already told you the reason. I don't want to get disappointed later on. Maybe it's good now, but I know for sure it will go. I know for sure it will turn bad one day, because that's just the nature of CW, and I just don't want to invest that much time into it.
No, I can see that, but you can always treasure that first or second season. Like I was the same way with The Flash and Arrow. Like the first season of The Flash, I will always treasure, and even the second season. Everything besides that, I don't think about. But those were golden. And same with Arrow, especially with Deathstroke. Like it peaked. And other than that, I used to watch the crossovers, but that was it. But what they're doing here is, I don't know how to describe it, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's really good. And look, I've always liked Tyler Hoechlin, but I always thought he didn't have the right material to work with. And now finally he does. So this was episode 7 of season 1. He returned last week after taking a 2-month break, which we're disappointed about as well. This season is going to have 15 episodes. We're on episode 7 now. And this episode was pretty damn good as well. And there was a huge twist near the end of the episode, which we'll get to. But this episode was titled Man of Steel. And many people were thinking, oh, was this like a reference to Zack Snyder's 2013 film, like as a tribute or something like that? That's what I thought as well. And it wasn't. It was actually a bit of a spoiler title, Man of Steel. And an interesting character from the comics. But basically, in this episode, we have, Jonathan and Jordan Kent as well. They've got their own problems going on. Is this the episode where they're playing against Metropolis football team?
Yep.
That is.
Same episode.
Yeah. And, Jordan broke Jonathan's hand in a fight by accident. His brother. And he's kind of rested that. They also have Jordan, who just is his superhero just kicked in. And he's trying to deal with that. And you got Lois Lane trying to, find out what's going on with Morgan Age, the big business guy. But also in this season, they introduced the character Captain Luthor, which we thought was going to be an alternate version of Lex Luthor brought into this world. And we've seen flashbacks or kind of visions of his Earth where an evil Superman existed and killed and wiped out most of humanity and stuff like that. So he comes to this Earth to try and defeat this world's Superman, Clark Kent. And that's his kind of end goal. But in this episode, we find out that he's not Captain Luthor, he's not Lex Luthor. That was just kind of a fake name, and he's actually Steel from the comic books. Who
John Henry Irons.
John Henry Irons. And when that name was dropped, people were like, oh my god, nobody could really see this come on, even though the title was Man of Steel. But this is a big comic book character who basically is Superman, but Steel, got his armor and stuff like that. But someone who knows the character, were you kind of shocked at that happening? Did you see it coming at all?
I didn't see it coming at all. Like, even with the title Man of Steel, I wasn't thinking about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. I was just thinking like this might have been like a more Superman-centric episode, or like what it meant to be the Man of Steel. something of that sort. But right when Lex was just talking to Superman and just grabs that hammer, I'm like, really? This is Steel the whole time? And it hit me. And not only that, just seeing Steel, but also seeing like now that he switched out to in the comics that Steel had a niece named Nat or Natasha. Here now, Natasha is his daughter, who has her own suit of armor too as well. And so I'm going to see. It might be interesting if they may incorporate that either this season or next. But I did not see that coming at all. At all. Just hearing the name John Henry, I'm like, they're not. And then when the hammer comes at him, Thor style, I'm like, yep, that's it. This is why I love the show.
It was pretty insane. And Mr. Everts in the chat, yes, he said my sound is skipping a bit. Can you fix that? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's happening here. I might have to restart OBS, but you guys can go ahead. I can pick it up.
Okay, yeah. Yes, it was a big shot. A really cool fight sequence where, Lois Lane through her detective kind of journalist skills is able to find out that it's John Henry Irons, and they were shocked by this name as well. So they're obviously aware of that character. Maybe in this Earth he already existed, but he looked different. Maybe he talked different and stuff like that. So it's not the same person. But this John Henry Irons comes from, we'll just say Earth 2. He comes to this Earth to stop Superman because he knows that he's going to go
breaking his bones potentially, because lately he has been getting a push to that edge, and we don't know if he's going to cross over, and that edge is not only coming from adversaries around him, but also everything going on within his family, and especially with Lois Lane's father, General Lane, who has been pushing his buttons, and essentially just showcasing that we do trust you, Superman, but also I need to protect America in any means necessary, and that means we'll start using live rounds with kryptonite anytime we're with you.
Yeah. Are we all good sound-wise, Casey?
Yeah, I think we should be fine now. It doesn't seem to stutter now, but the chat will say if we do. But on my end, it seems fine now.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, so this episode was pretty good. And we've been loving all 7 episodes because every single story has something interesting in this episode. Jordan, his power of his superheroes kicking in. You have Jonathan at school as well, and he kind of having kind of a relationship with Sarah, but not kind of a love relationship. But Jordan is able to hear this because of his powers, and he hears that Jonathan or his brother Jonathan and his kind of love interest there are talking, so he gets a bit paranoid there and stuff like that. So they also got Lana Lang, who is working for Morgan Edge, the big corporate businessman who's giving people powers. He's got this big plan. She is an interesting arc there, storyline there. Lois, of course, working with this Captain Luthor guy, trying to find out his true identity. And then Clark being a father, being Superman. Every single storyline is well written. And I just don't see the rest of the season getting bad in terms of maybe the other CW shows did. I just think it's a really solid, high quality. The budget has been really well. And it doesn't rely on VFX and big, massive fight sequences. It relies on the characters and the storyline and the direction, which I think is some of the best television that's on right now. In my opinion, I think it's just really, it's relaxing to watch these characters. And I think you don't have to be a comic book movie fan or a comic book reader or a comic book TV show fan to actually enjoy this show. I think, if I was to put on for my mother, who's not big into that stuff, I think she'd enjoy it because of all the storylines and just how much depth each character has. You kind of agree with that?
No, I agree with that. I'm even trying to convince my wife to watch it, because every time she's like, trying to find something new to watch, I'm like always whispering to her ear, well, there's always Superman and Lois. I don't know, Alex. I'm like, come on, you loved Smallville. This is a little bit better.
Yeah,
you'll get to it. Like,
you know why it's better? Like in Smallville, and Smallville's pretty good as well. But they had like the old villain of the week. This week we've got the girl with the super speed. Next week we've got the guy with strength. Following week we've got the guy who can whatever, he can eat everything around him, something like that. Like Lois Lane, Amy Adams herself is a character like that.
But at least here, it's only there's only one villain, that's a Morgan Edge, and only focusing on him, and they're sprinkling in a couple things, like maybe like the villain of the week, but it's not going to take over the full plot. It's just a cannon fodder, just for the background. But for the most part, it's only focusing on one storyline, and that's going to be for each episode. And there has not even been a filler at all.
Yeah, no, not one episode of filler. And there's recurring villains, and there's recurring heroes as well, characters like that we like. So yeah, we got Morgan Edge, who's the bad guy, but we also got Captain Luthor, who's now John Henry Irons, Steel from the other universe. He's kind of an anti-hero villain, because I can see why why he wants to defeat Superman in this world. Because again, spoiler, Superman in his Earth killed who was his wife. His wife in his Earth is Lois Lane, and she was.
And what'd you think of that scene?
She in Earth, and well, I'm just calling Earth too.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
Yeah, you see, I'm spoiling now, because I'm telling you for weeks to watch this, months to watch this. But in John Henry Irons' Earth, his wife, man, and this is what his motivation is. This is what his drive is, to come to this Earth to kill this Superman, who in this world his wife is married to Superman, the person that killed her. And it's pretty fascinating to see that arc. And I like to steal John Henry Irons' character, because actually I kind of agree with him.
Yeah, no, wow. And I'm wondering what they're going to do with this character. Will he become a Superman in his Earth when he comes back? Because we all know in the end that he will team up with the Superman of our Earth. Does stop working Steel? Hopefully, see eye to eye, and he will become the Man of Steel within his Earth.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely going that way as well. And let's not forget as well, in his Earth, he built his costume that we got to see in episode 1 and episode 2. He built that with his daughter, and he had to leave his daughter behind to come to this Earth, and he hasn't been able to go back to her. So I guess my kind of prediction as well, that she's building something by herself, and she's going to end up either coming to this Earth, or she'll be able to kind of free her father in some way. Do you think we'll see something like that in the next few episodes?
Possibly, because I think the new promo just came out yesterday, and it just showcases a little bit more of a backstory of John Henry coming to our Earth. So we're going to be seeing a little bit more. So hopefully they'll be fleshing out his character, and also his daughter Nat. Just to say.
Yeah, hopefully there's a good kind of chemistry and bond between those two characters. But KC, like, okay, we're 7 episodes in now. There's 15 to go. Will you episodes done if me and Alex are still kind of raving about it?
I might, if there's not anything that I have to watch by then, and if there's nothing else, I might binge it.
What are you doing this weekend? What are you doing after the stream?
Listen, there's a lot of stuff to watch, and I have to watch the Unholy movie, and that's my plan first and foremost. And I've been waiting for that movie.
Okay, well, hopefully you get around to it. But I suppose we'll go to topic number 2, which is the Cruella movie, which just hit Disney Plus yesterday, and it's in some theaters as well. If you want to watch it on Disney Plus, you have to pay $30 at the premium rate. I'm not a big fan of that premium rate, because for me going to the movies, it's like $5 or €5 for my movie ticket, because I'm a student. And for someone else, I know it's a little bit dearer than popcorn and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it rounds up to $30 or euros when you end up going to see the movie. But let's see, yesterday. Somebody else got the premiere access. I didn't buy it. But I kind of used them first. Don't tell them. Wow. I watched Cruella. Casey's watched as well. Alex, have you watched Cruella yet?
I'm actually watching it tonight.
Cool, awesome. We're not going to spoil that tonight. We're just going to give a non-spoiler review myself and KC. But look, this is a movie when it was announced, I rolled my eyes at, because of the girl who hates dogs, a movie about her, and I wasn't interested whatsoever. Then Emma Stone was cast. I was like, oh, I love Emma Stone, absolutely anything, of course, but I still wasn't interested in the movie whatsoever. But the first trailer came out, and it had this different kind of vibe, this different kind of look to it. It was like a DC origin movie for a villain. And it looked like it took a little bit of inspiration from the Joker as well, which isn't a bad thing either, because the Joker's a pretty good movie. But yeah, the first trailer came out, loved it. Second trailer came out, absolutely loved it. The TV spots came out, the posters, the still images from the movie. I could not get enough of this movie, and I was actually counting down the days for Cruella to come out, and I was so excited. And I watched it yesterday. It's 2 hours and 10, 15 minutes, I had loads of fun with it. I enjoyed it. I thought Emma Stone looked like she was having a ball in the role. You can see when an actor's enjoying themselves. She looked like she was enjoying herself. Emma Thompson, who plays kind of the villain in this movie, she was cruel. She was brilliant as well. Mark Strachan is in it. He doesn't have too much to do. I think he's very much underused in this movie, but he's very important to a big twist that happens later on in the film, which I won't spoil, of course. But the film is set between the 60s and 70s, maybe a little bit of the 80s as well. But the music choices I really enjoyed. So some really well-known music that I just thought it suited the scenes. I just had loads of fun with it. I thought some of the dialogue was brilliant. The interactions with the transformation from Estella, Emma Stone's character, to Cruella was very interesting. And how she got her name was kind of cool as well. But you get to see at the start of the movie her as a young girl, her origin, say what happened to her. She didn't have the best of upbringing in her young adulthood as well. She's not doesn't live in the best environment, but her dream is to be a fashion designer, to work in fashion, and she ends up kind of getting in a position to work there. But we get to see slowly her turn into Cruella. But overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I would watch a sequel. There's probably, after the big twist happens, there's about a period of 15, maybe 20 minutes of time where I was just a little bit bored. I wasn't as interested in the film. I think there was a bit of a down curve in it. But the ending for me was fun, and I think it kind of saved that 10 or 15 minutes that I didn't really like, or 20 minutes. But I will say, this isn't a grounded movie. It's very much, it's like a superhero comic book, super villain
Felt
film,
like
because there's some
cartoon.
stuff that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some of the parts in the film I'm like, come on, you're kind of taking me out of the movie, because some of it's very grounded and other elements are just not. The dogs in it are CGI, but they're still cute, and it doesn't look bad or
Oh
anything
wait,
like that.
are the dogs the true villains in this film?
Yeah.
This is Gorilla's origin.
There is a bit of a twist there. I think they're changing that a little bit
Oh.
as well. But Cruella is a very famous character, and of course, her trait is hating dogs. She doesn't really do that. They kind of try to overplay that or overshadow it a little bit, because I don't think many people will see a movie or a woman who wants to kill and skin dogs for coats. I don't think commercially that would do too well. And John Wick might be spinning over into that universe then if she started to do that. But Cruella, for me, I enjoyed it, and it looks like a sequel could be on the way. It's going to be grossing 26 million domestically by Monday, which isn't a bad start for this Disney movie. I know it's a Disney movie, you expect more, but this doesn't feel like a Disney movie. So 26 million for me in a pandemic it's not too bad. KC, let's get the negative review.
Well, it's not that negative, but I agree with most of your points. And I'm glad you touched upon the boring and the down part, because the middle of the movie was very, very boring, and I didn't think it was needed that much for this movie to be, uh, the first act was good, and then it went downhill from there. Even the ending, I thought. But again, the middle especially was just, I was struggling to just keep watching it. But yeah, Emma Stone was great. The first act, the way they set up the world is good. I liked that it's not that grounded. I liked that it felt like cartoon, because it goes too cartoony at times. People act like they wouldn't act like in a live action. They would act like in a cartoon. Some of those things are in here, which makes it fun. But again, the story was too dragged out, and the middle was too boring, and the ending also, and it was kind of predictable. The ending also was one twist at the ending was, I didn't see it coming, but again, it wasn't that big or interesting to warrant the patience I had to deal with. So I guess that's just me, because I see that most people are liking it and loving it, so I don't know what to say. I just didn't enjoy it as much as you or everyone else.
Wow. So out of
Yeah,
all the Disney live actions, how do you rate this one?
I wouldn't say Disney live action movies are that great, so it wouldn't be hard rating it. The last great movie I saw was Aladdin. I didn't like Lion King either. So I mean, they went full Zack Snyder on that one. It was too realistic, and it was just boring, and the facial features and all were not good. So I think my camera fucked up, so I need to fix that.
The Lion King movie, I was bored out of my mind watching that because it was shot for shot the original one, and I was like, what's the point in this? If you're going to make something of the same kind of film, do something different, man. Take a little bit of a risk. I know they're making a sequel. I hope that's a little bit different, a little bit better. I was just proud. But Cruella is different. As I said, it's the big motivation isn't the dogs or hitting dogs or anything like that. There's a new angle to it. They kind of changed her origin a little bit as well. So yeah, I enjoyed this one because I didn't know where it was going to go next. So, because there's no original movie for me to look at and say, oh, they might do that, because they really invented the character. Emma Stone. I know the director and Emma Stone said it wasn't inspired by the Joker, but I think a little bit that it was. They even used one song that I was actually shocked that they used it in this movie from the Joker movie. I'm like, you guys said it's not inspired by the Joker, but you used the song from the Joker. I wouldn't have done that whatsoever because.
Did she have her own bathroom dance?
Yeah. The song? Just said you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. No. But you'll see it. You'll see. It's not overly done, but you'll notice it when you see it. But other than that,
the song choices were good though in this movie.
Yeah, I don't worry. Yeah, I would have changed that one song, but the rest of them were really awesome. But Alex, just get your final thoughts. Like, have you seen the trailer, and what makes you want to watch tonight? What you're going to do?
No, I've seen all the trailers. I'm excited for. I'm a huge fan of Emma Thompson. The whole cast. The costume designs look amazing, and this doesn't feel like the typical live-action Disney films that have been coming out. I've been pretty disappointed on the most part. The only two, well, actually, the only three that have been great so far has been The Jungle Book, Cinderella, and even Aladdin.
I haven't seen Cinderella.
Everything else has just been. You need to watch Cinderella. That is, I don't know why for all the live actions that are out there, no one talks about that movie. And to me, I think that is pretty much the best one that came out besides Jungle Book. Jungle Book was amazing. Which I kind of felt like I don't know what happened with The Lion King. Like, if he used the same energy that he did with Jungle Book for The Lion King, it would have been a lot better movie. But he just he went full James Cameron and just focused too much on the technology and not the story. But that's my opinion on that. But this looks really different. They are going a little off key on the villain, which for me that makes me excited, but then also a little worrisome because the last time they did something like that was Maleficent, which I know might have got canceled. I did not like that movie. I love the character Maleficent. I grew up with those movies, and she's always been to me just pure evil, like for evil's sake. Like, there's no backstory. There's nothing that I should feel sorry for her. There's why she became that.
It's funny you say that.
I just kind of I felt like you took away what was great about Maleficent, and great movie, great acting. Angelina Jolie, she was born for that part, but. For the most part, that was the one that did not excite me at all. So I'm glad I just hearing the reviews on this. It did not go that route, so I can't wait.
Yeah, and I've got to say that the costume design and set design is absolutely brilliant in this film. So good. Yeah. And I probably will watch Cruella again or sometime in the future because I had that much of a good time with it. And I thought it was just, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. But speaking about Disney movies and Premiere Access, some trailers come out this week for 3 movies, which we'll talk about pretty quickly. Jungle Cruise, Last Night in Soho, and Old. So we'll start with Jungle Cruise, of course, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. I was surprised that this movie was announced last week or 2 weeks ago that it was not just going to be in theaters, it was going to get a Premiere Access as well for $30, €30, wherever you are, and also hit theaters. And I thought, well, this is The Rock in it. Would you not put this back in theaters? Because Fast and Furious seems to be doing pretty well so far. The Quiet Place is for a huge opening this weekend at the box office.
Oh my god.
That movie I'm waiting to see so much.
Yeah, who would have thought that John Cleese is going to save cinema?
Yeah. I made a tweet about today. Movie just announced.
Put aside Nolan.
That movie is meant to be seen in a theater.
I'm watching that tomorrow. I cannot wait.
Yeah, the first one in cinemas, you could hear a pin drop. It
Yeah.
was so quiet, and it was a good experience. But like a movie doesn't have superheroes or robots or aliens or fast cars. I couldn't say is the one that says cinema for now anyway.
Aliens.
But yeah, we'll maybe talk about aliens later. but look, Jungle Cruise, I thought the trailer was fine. I wasn't perfect, but it didn't take me out of it because it just looks like a fun kind of ride of a movie. The best part for me was when Jesse Plemons showed up, and I forgot the piece of dialogue that he said, but he just showed up in like a submarine, and I laughed out loud. I love Jesse Plemons, of course, from Breaking Bad. He was in The Irishman. He was in Black Mask. He's going to be in another Scorsese movie or another big director like that. And I love him in Absolutely Anthem, so I'm definitely going to watch this movie now just because Jesse Plemons is in. Absolutely loves him. But the trailer was fine. It looks like they're going to go on a big adventure, and yeah, it just looks fine. Family fun movie for everyone to sit down and watch. Probably not going to think too much about it, but yeah, it was fine. It was okay. But Casey, you got the chance to see that Jungle Cruise trailer. What was your thoughts on that?
I actually didn't. I've only seen parts of it, so I can't talk about it.
Alex, have you seen Jungle Cruise trailer?
No, but my interest is I enjoy the ride in Disney, and that's it.
Oh, did you go on the ride at Disney?
A long time ago.
Tell us about that. You can remember?
It's nothing. Nothing like I can remember. It's just like a little cruise line. Like I enjoyed Pirates of the Caribbean more than the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean was created off kind of a big ride as well. You have Jungle Cruise doing the same. So Pirates of the Caribbean didn't do too badly. Jungle Cruise, well, it had The Rock in it as well, so I'm sure it's going to be watched by people. It might not be great, but I'm sure it's going to do well if he's involved with it. But I suppose move on to the next trailer. I'm sure you guys have seen it then. If you haven't seen Jungle Cruise, it's The Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright movie. Anya Taylor-Joy's in this as well. And this trailer was pretty weird and pretty unique and different. People were saying it online who are big fans of Hitchcock. And some of the shots are very similar to his movies and stuff like that. It looks like a girl who's kind of, I actually don't know what the real plot of this movie is, but she's in different kind of parallel timeline with herself and somebody else. She's living through this person. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure this movie's going to be a mindfuck. I'm sure it's not going to make any sense. Maybe by the end it will. But I just thought Last Night in Soho was visually beautiful. And Anya Taylor-Joy is on an amazing ride right now of just brilliant content. Queen's Gambit. Want to see her in Mad Max prequel Furiosa.
Yes.
So looking forward to that.
yeah.
This trailer,
Will they shave her hair?
I hope not. but I think this trailer was just, it already caught my attention. Some of the visuals, and Edgar Wright's very, like, he can do anything. He can do comedy. He can do, he can do the Baby Driver movie. It's a hard movie to direct, and he can do something like this. I'm looking forward to this, and it looks like an absolute mindfuck. But Alex, did you get to see The Last Night in Soho trailer?
Yeah, and it's as beautiful as Anya Taylor-Joy. Like I was stunned. Like my mouth dropped just watching him. It came out of left field. I didn't know anything about this movie, and just I know it was Edgar Wright, and I'm a huge fan of him. And I didn't know he was doing this project. So I was dumbstruck just seeing it and just seeing the story. What's it about? It's quite interesting because I did like after that trailer, I just jumped online just to try to see. Is there a plot? Is there anything like I need to know? Like, what's going on? Is this a girl living two lives? Is she being possessed by a ghost or something? Like, I have to know because just visually, it's something that I haven't seen in a while, and I just can't wait to.
Yeah, Kissy.
Yeah, man. I love Edgar Wright, and I love his movies. It's so unique. He uses all things in film to his benefit, like sound for comedy and all that stuff. He's known for that. But this was a really different kind of movie for him. It's kind of like a horror, but then thriller and suspense. So you know me. This is my wheelhouse. Like I love thriller movies and stuff. So um, I I was really impressed with this, especially because Anya was in it, and the plot looked it looked weird, and then the first half of the trailer was kind of going a different direction, and then it suddenly changed, and apparently there's ghosts or something. But again, it looks like a psychological thriller, and I'm all in for that. So yeah, I'm not sure about what old movies this is inspired by, but just looking at this, it looks unique enough to me, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, and Anya Taylor-Joy was singing as well in
Oh,
this
and
trailer.
the
Did you notice
the
her?
other girl who is the lead, she's from Jojo
Yeah.
Rabbit.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen her.
Right. What?
Excuse me? Hello?
Excuse me.
I haven't seen it. I was
You just said
Just
you were
as,
gonna
like,
watch
you
Cruella
broke my heart
again.
as a Casey breaking my heart not watching Superman and Lois. Like after the stream, go watch it and then go get a tissue box and come cry back to us after you've seen
Yeah.
that beautiful, beautiful movie.
I've been too busy trying to get the Taika Waititi romance going on, fully romance movie. So maybe his movie might inspire me to be able to crack that sale. Pun intended. I made pun there, but yeah. So we're all excited for last night in Soho. It looked absolutely insane. The other trailer was a guy that I love so much, but I always mess up the end of his name. M. Night Shyamalan. I'll just say that.
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, but M. Night is one of the most interesting directors that I love watching. Signs, Sixth Sense. He had some thinkers happening. The Village, stuff like that were not really that good. Afterwards, I like most of it. I mean, the best one either. But Old came out, and Alex, you get to see the trailer for Old because this looks like an absolute crazy film that
Yes.
nobody knows.
I am a huge M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong fan, and yeah, I can't ever say his last name, so I have to just say it like that. But it looks great, and I'm really happy for him. He's going on this streak ever since with the movie Split. Like he's been coming out with hits after hits. Glass not so much, but at least he came rebounded back with the Apple series. And that Casey just cannot stop talking about.
Dude.
Servant. Yeah. Dude.
Got Maher
I wasn't so happy with the second season, but so far it's been great for the most part, like production and storyline. Yeah, but this looks really interesting, and it's just the horror element behind it. Just seeing your kids just growing up right in front of your eyes. You have that one girl who was she's 6 years old, and now all of a sudden she's pregnant and is about to deliver a child. I'm like, oh my god. So I want to see how far is it going to go with this film? Like, what are the rules behind this? It's I don't know why people are so attracted to that beach. Is this an experiment? Is this my portal to another realm? Is this a type of hell for these people, or are they actually alive? Who knows? Time loop.
Yeah, but this kind of family go to this beach where there's no kids allowed, but they bring their kids anyway, and then other people start showing up, and pretty quickly the kids start growing up. Oh, the girl gets pregnant. But Casey, what was your thoughts on the old trailer from Mr. M. Night, Genius M. Night, in my opinion?
Yeah, like you guys, I like his movies. I haven't watched all of his old movies, but I love Split. I liked Glass. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But again, Servant I think is his top tier thing. It's crazy how usually I want something to end by one season and give us a conclusion, but this just keeps going and going, and every week you just have to wait to see what happens, and I'm still just invested, and 2 seasons later we still don't find out what happened. And I'm okay with that, and that's credit to him.
It's frustrating,
right?
Right, but you gotta watch it.
Yeah, and I love that. So yeah, full credit to him, and I love what he's been doing. and right after that, I think he made Old. So the trailer looks amazing, even the latest one. It kind of looks haunting when when the second half of the trailer plays and stuff happens. It was just it's I think it will be a good experience to watch in a theater with people. So I hope theaters are open here when that movie releases. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that first day, first show if it's releasing here.
Oh wow, first day.
100%. I love when movies are fucking with my
And
mind
he,
in a good way. So
yeah, but he's been on the ride lately because The Visit kind of rebuilt his career with that movie, the small
Oh
movie.
my
About
god,
you guys,
yes.
brilliant. Then he did Split, brilliant. I love Glass. And most people don't. I absolutely love Glass.
I
Really
liked
love
it, but
Glass.
the problem
And
was
then
that
Servant.
Split was
I,
so good that Glass felt a little bit short.
yeah, because the thing is, like, Split made a promise to us, like, for this whole world that he's finally building, and then Glass just kind of just like Glass, just crumbled at its feet at the end. As for me, the third act
Yeah,
killed the
the
movie.
third act was
Like,
just like typical, comic book stuff. But
yeah, and that twist did not do it for me. I kind of felt he was a little lazy on that
Yeah,
front.
but the thing about it, he didn't. Everyone was expecting a big showdown like in every single comic book movie, but he didn't do that. He did something more
Oh no,
grounded.
I
yeah,
knew there was not gonna be a giant showdown. It was
Yeah,
it's too realistic
yeah,
for that type of world, and this is more deconstruction. I wasn't expecting that. I
yeah,
don't know. I was expecting just a little more of the quality of especially with Unbreakable,
yeah.
which is is my favorite film of his, and especially just hearing that theme in Split at the end. Like
I
I couldn't
actually
believe
liked
it. Like,
Split more
is he really
than
doing it?
Unbreakable. So for me, it was going on an upward
Really?
trajectory. Then Glass happened, and I was like, oh man, it was still good, but not as good as Split or better than Split. But Servant,
Mhm.
I think, is even
yeah.
better than
But
Split. Servant is amazing.
Now, what
this,
about Avatar: The Last Airbender?
yeah, we don't talk.
We don't speak
We
about
don't talk.
that.
No.
That was for a reason. But Old looks insane. Hopefully he can make. Hopefully it's good, and hopefully the payoff is pretty good. Hopefully the twist is good, and hopefully it makes sense. But it's based on a French graphic novel, and I think M Night was given this for his birthday or as a present or something like that, and he read this novel. That's what the movie's based on. He
Really?
fell in love and wanted to make an adaptation of it. So it's an adaptation, but I'm sure he'll have his own spin on it. I'm sure
Okay.
because the ending is supposed to be very flat of that book, but hopefully he changes it and hopefully he brings something extra to us. I'm sure he will. I'm sure it's not going to be a complete adaptation. I'm sure it's going to have M Night stamp on it, absolutely. But yeah, those three movies. That was the trailer for those. But another trailer was Internals. I want to do a separate topic on this one because it's a big Marvel movie and it's directed by an Oscar winner, Chloe Zhao. Now, this trailer came out earlier in the week, and it wasn't a mind-blowing trailer like that. It wasn't a trailer to say, "Oh my God, it's going to be a big, massive showdown." For me, it was more of a trailer to show us how different it is from other Marvel movies. Because Chloe Zhao, Kevin Feige said this as well. She wanted to shoot on location, and this movie looks like it's not made in a green screen room or in the Mandalorian technology, or it's all required by VFX and all that kind of stuff. It looks like they actually shot this stuff on location, which they did. And I think it brings something extra special to it. It looks like the film that she won best film and Oscar for Nomadland. It looks like that type of movie. It looks a bit darker than other Marvel movies as well. But of course, at the end of the trailer, they threw in a stupid joke. And I don't think should have been there because the trailer wasn't about that joke. But visually, the shots, it seemed like a trailer to show off her directing style. But we already know her directing style is brilliant because she just won an Oscar. So show us a little bit more of the story and the characters. But Salma Hayek is in it. We've got Angelina Jolie. We've got a huge cast. Few of the members from Game of Thrones, Kit Harington as well. So it's a massive cast as well. It's kind of like the very first superheroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they've never stepped in until now to help the world. For some reason, I'm sure will be in the movie, but yeah, Eternals for me, the trailer was fine. It's not anything amazing, but for me, it just showed me this will be different. It looks different than any other Marvel movie, but it also will have that comedic element. That's something that's their formula. It works. They're not going to throw it out. It shouldn't, because it's been made them successful. But I hope this film is different and it looks different, but it has an amazing director involved. So hopefully she brought something unique to it. But KC, have you seen the trailer for Eternals, and what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought that it looked, like you said, it looked different from other movies. It looked even different from Guardians of the Galaxy, which I was thinking that it would look similar to that. But even I don't know how she would tackle all the full CGI elements, since it's Eternals and it has to do with space and universe and all that. I'm not sure how she is going to do that, because you'll need full on, like, how the Guardians of the Galaxy had the explainer Infinity Stones thing. I guess there would be a scene like that, and I'm not sure how she would do that, but so far it looks great. Again, she's an Oscar winner. Her movie won Best Picture, and her lead actress won an Oscar. So everything is promising, and I'm excited.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, no. The teaser, I'm going to categorize this as a teaser than a trailer. It did its job. It got my interest. It didn't show everything, because this is the Eternals. Like, where are my Celestials? So I'm glad for that aspect. I'm also glad they went with the Guardians of the Galaxy route, where this is completely different from anything that we've seen before that Marvel's produced. And it's shot beautifully. I love all the actors that are portrayed there, and I'm pretty excited. But I'm also just wondering. The one thing I'm just a little worried with this film is, and I've also been talking about this already online, is where have the Eternals been, especially with everything that's been going on with Thanos and so forth. Because if they've been silent this whole time, I hope the big bad or the threat or something either eclipses the Infinity Saga, or something that can justify them not just appearing or anything. So
yeah, that is true. It has to make sense, because Thanos was pretty big. Age of Ultron was pretty big. Even the first Avengers, where Loki comes in, like, are they that confident that the Avengers can save the world every single time? If so, why did they come to the forefront this time? Is, like, why? But basically, what I got as well, that the Eternals kind of broke up and they're living their own separate lives and they're off doing stuff. So maybe that's why. But again, you'd think at least one of them would want to step up and be a hero again.
Something. I'm wondering if they were even affected by the snap too.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. Think of that. But Angelina Jolie looks absolutely stunning in it, and looks like a big badass. So it's cool to see her back in a huge movie. But Casey, did any of the characters really stand out to you?
Yeah, her character was great. It kind of looked like Wonder Woman, and her sword is cool. Her look is amazing. The face, of that character looks good. So I'm excited. And also the thing about the where have they been all this time? I'm pretty sure they're gonna have an explainer in the movie, because that's the question everyone would ask, right? Where have they been? Aren't they supposed to be protecting the universe and all that? So I would understand if they didn't intervene in other battles like Avengers 1 or 2, but Thanos was affecting the entire universe, so I think for that they would need to explain. But again, I understand that this is a cinematic universe and stuff like this happens, and it's just they didn't exist back then, so that's why they weren't there. So
yeah. So we're looking forward to that. It comes out later this year, so hopefully in theaters. It looks like a visually beautiful film where we want to see it on the big screen. But I suppose we're going to the next topic, which is Marvel as well. And some news that was kind of low key dropped was about a Disney Plus series that's going to follow Okoye, played by Denai Guerrera from Black Panther. And what's the group's name of women in the Black Panther universe? Starts with an M, is it? Or do you know them, Casey?
yeah, it was
Going blank now.
Um,
They were in Falcon and the Winter Soldier
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. There's somebody in the chat with as well. But yeah, Okoye is going to be having her own Disney Plus series.
Dora
Now it
Milaje.
said in the article, I didn't say. Yeah, that's yeah. Thank you. So it's not confirmed that it's going to be solely about her character, Okoye. It could follow the group as well. It could follow more of Wakanda. It didn't say that it's a full origin story. So it's going to be telling us some sort of background to the character. Now, if you said to me, what character would you pick for a Disney Plus show? I probably would never have picked this character. Not because I don't like the character or I don't think the character is badass or anything, but it just would have never come to my mind. I would have thought maybe, let's do a character about maybe, let's do a series about maybe the Wasp or something like that. Some other character that we've seen really at the forefront of these movies. But this is cool because at the moment she's kind of like a B-list character, maybe even a C-list character. But to see the MCU have confidence that she can lead her own show or to be in her own show, that will only excel the character even more to maybe an A-list character, where maybe we get a solo movie like we're getting with Captain America, the new Captain America, Anthony Mackie, and Captain America 4. So, yeah, I'll watch this on Disney Plus. I'm sure it will do well. It will expand the universe even more. Danai Gurira, who was on The Walking Dead, she left after season 10, just at the start of season 10. And I loved her in that for 7-8 years. It's great to see her in such a big universe now. She'll be in Black Panther 2, of course. I was a little bit disappointed that she show up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier since, some of them did. But then again, it'd be cool to see her in her own series. But Alex, you heard this news. Do you like the character? Did you like her in Black Panther? Are you even excited for this type of show with her?
Yeah, I like the character. I love the actress. I was a huge fan of her in The Walking Dead. She was one of my favorite characters in the comic, and she did that character justice. And just hearing about the show, to be honest, I'm a little indifferent because I just don't know exactly what they're going to do with this. However, I was surprised with WandaVision. I was pleasantly surprised with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I cannot wait for Loki, so I know for a fact that this is going to be a quality production. And I believe, I think Ryan Coogler might have his fingers in this too as well, along with Black Panther 2. So hopefully, hopefully it's going to be good. Like they haven't really said anything. What's gonna be based? It's just the series is coming. So I'm just interested in as what they're going to be doing. Like, it's the focus going to be mainly based in Wakanda. Is this going to be more of like an Wakanda outreach within the world? Since now they're more open. Because as you remember, like, she wanted to bring Starbucks to Wakanda.
Yeah, that's true. And look, if it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then I'll be happy. I'll sit down and watch 10 episodes of this because I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or 6 episodes, whatever it's going to be. I loved the first half of WandaVision. It was brilliant. So hopefully the show can learn from the mistakes of the other Disney Plus shows and also excel at some of the strengths that it had, but also do its own thing. But Casey, you heard this news. Are you interested? Are you excited for the Okoye character?
Yeah, I like the character, and I like Black Panther the movie a lot, and I liked the whole tribe and all those aspects too. So I'm glad that they're doing a Wakanda show as well. I would definitely watch that. This one, I'm not sure. Again, like Alex said, there's just news that it's coming out, so I'm not sure what to expect. I'm pretty sure that if Feige is making this, there's some sort of plan with her in the MCU. So yeah.
Feige always has a plan.
And also, the thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier was the whole show just was an arc to get Falcon to become Captain America, and then WandaVision also was the journey from Wanda to Scarlet Witch. So maybe Okoye is also going to become something. Maybe Black Panther.
Could be.
Maybe. That's a good point.
Could be, yeah, because look what they did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This could be the same thing because Chadwick Boseman, of course, sadly passed away. So they need a new Black Panther, and maybe it will be multiple Black Panthers, or maybe different movies. A different character has to step into that role, depending on where they are. So that's how it goes. But
I don't see Shuri becoming Black
it,
Panther though, because that's I think that's to me a bad decision making. She's not a fighter or combat I don't think that she would choose that. So I don't know. To me, maybe Nakia or Mbaku or Okoye would fit. Yeah,
Umbaku.
Mbaku would fit perfectly. But if they choose any one of these three, I would be fine.
Yeah, and Danae Guerrero has experience kind of doing stunts.
Yeah, she was
For
amazing.
The Walking Dead, because she had to,
Yeah, she was great.
yeah, she had to carry around her own samurai sword, so she always kind of was busy in the show, and I think it's great to see her get another big show after leaving The Walking Dead. I hope she is the lead. I hope it is all about her. But again, we got more Marvel. Marvel is very much a big topic of this show. But look, Spider-Man 3, loads of rumors over the last nearly a year. What's going on with that movie? The ending of Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, was that everyone knew who Peter Parker was. But at that time, we didn't know if the multiverse was cracked open. The multiverse is cracked open because it's kind of been confirmed. Because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are probably going to be in this movie. I think a bit of a slip.
Probably
One of the
they're in the movie.
Yeah, and a slip in one of the articles that we'll talk about. They talked about that these two guys were going to be in the movie, and then it was edited to be changed to, oh, maybe it's just the villains of these guys in their universe are going to be in the next Spider-Man 3 movie. Because we already know that Jamie Foxx is returning. We know that Doc Ock is coming. We got Green Goblin. Sandman is in. Well, who else is going to pop up in this? So the other two Spider-Man have to show up. Well, but yeah. I don't know.
Hey, no, if they bring in the Spider-Mans from the cartoon,
yeah,
I'll be happy. Like into the Spider-Verse, I'll love to see that. They can pull that one off.
Yeah, it looks like because Sony have a great relationship with Marvel now. They use Tom Holland. Sony are making their own standalone villain anti-hero movies. Venom, Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, which we'll talk about later as well. So Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. It's a big multiverse film. Doctor Strange is going to be in it. Probably Wanda as well is going to be in it. Maybe it's just a big film, and I'm looking forward to it because I love Tobey Maguire. He's my Spider-Man. To see him come back is just going to be crazy for me. I know many people love Andrew Garfield, but Casey, you just give us your thoughts on that while I get the quote up from the Sony president about are these guys going to be in the movie, and what do you think they're trying to do?
Yeah, I am the okay. So I should preface this by saying that Homecoming was a good movie, but I don't think Homecoming or Far From Home are one of the best Spider-Man movies. And I think Tom Holland is really good as Spider-Man, but again, I don't think the movies are that great as they should have been. But they're still good. They're not bad. But the thing that got me excited for the third one was definitely the involvement of, or the chance of involvement at least, of the other Spider-Man. And I have loved Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 3. I love all those three movies. And then I love Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I love both. Yes. Call me whatever you want. I love both. And but yeah, I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man even better. I think he perfectly nails Spider-Man, just like how I like Spider-Man, how he was in the games and how he was portrayed by Tobey Maguire even. I think he did the best of everything. So to me, the third Amazing Spider-Man movie was highly anticipated, and especially with everything that I was hearing about it, like Sinister Six and all that, except a few things. His father being alive, that was a fucking stupid decision. I wouldn't have liked that, because the second movie relied heavily on how he was feeling and about that thing. So I would have hated if that happened. But again, there were a lot of cool things to look forward to in the third movie, which again didn't happen. So that still has a deep hole in my heart, and I wish that he comes back and does another and completes his trilogy. But I know that's a reach. But yeah, just seeing him again in this movie would be a dream come true for me, and I would love every second of it.
Yeah, look at their own individual universes. They've been trying to do Sinister Six for years. They've been trying to do it all these guys into one movie, get the villains of each universe, and throw them into the one movie as well. I'm like, that's the best idea. Let's just do this. This movie just can't be bad.
Yeah.
It just can't be bad. Like,
I mean, it can be bad, but I'll still take it because there's so much action.
Yeah, what's the he's from America? Is it these from movies? Or was it
Wait, what? That's sorry, I couldn't hear you.
the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies? Who's the director for these ones?
John Watts.
Oh, these for Tom Holland. Oh, John Watts.
Yeah, what's Mark Webb was the amazing
Yes.
director. But both Tobey Maguire fans, so it's going to be interesting to see how it works. But this is a quote from the Sony president. That was their plan for maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man to appear in the Sonyverse, which is Morbius, which is Venom, which is Kraven the Hunter. He goes, there's actually is a plan. I think when No Way Home comes out, even more will be revealed. So what my dream would be is Tom Holland to play in the MCU, have his villains over there, and maybe in the Sonyverse, either bring back Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire to fight that world separate universe on the Sony universe. And that way you could bring in Miles Morales and he'd be mentored by Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire and mentor him to be the next Spider-Man in a way. And then he leads the forefront of the Sony Spider-Man universe as Miles Morales in the future. That's something that I'd love to see while Tom Holland does his thing over there. We also get to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield's legacy live on. But also Spider-Man 3. And I hope we get a better ending for these characters because Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 aren't the best endings for these two characters, these two actors who played a great character, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So I hope they get a better closure to the character in Spider-Man 3. But Alex, how hyped are you for this and what way do you think it's going to end up going?
Yeah, I'm hyped. I love Spider-Man. Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and even our new Spidey. Like, to be honest, Sony has, when it comes to casting Spider-Man, they have not screwed up whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even even with Into the Spider-Verse, like that casting was phenomenal. And that's some of my favorite portrayals of Spider-Man. And just to your films up for Marvel, but then also to, as what you pointed out, for the Sony films, because that quote is quite interesting. But just to get to your point, would it be Andrew Garfield leading that group? I don't think so, especially when you look at some of the production or even the recent trailer for Morbius. You did see Michael Keaton's Vulture there. So you can know that Tom Holland is a part of that universe per se. So, I don't want to crush the Andrew Garfield fans because I love them as Spider-Man. Not so much as Peter Parker, but it's going to be great just to see all three of them together. Like, I'm hoping for the banter, them in costumes, them just figure out the web shooters. It's going to be... I think they should do a measuring of web shooters, especially Tom Holland. He created his from scratch, including the fluids. Andrew Garfield, he created the shooters, but not the fluid himself. He bought those from Oscorp, and Toby, he just creates it, and so that's gonna be disgusting for those two.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And I was a bit worried because there was kind of rumors that Toby didn't sign on in time to shoot maybe the entire thing that he was supposed to shoot, maybe trouble over money. So I hope that was just kind of false information that was put out there. I hope that he did end up shooting a lot, and I hope he's in the movie a lot. Tobey Maguire for me, and I want to see loads of Andrew Garfield. But yeah, KC, do you think that is there a possibility that we're pissed off as die-hard Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire fans from what Marvel do? Because look what they did to Evan Peters as Quicksilver, as
Listen, if he comes on screen and wears the suit, that's just, I'm sold there. That's all I want.
That's it.
But again, that's not all I want, of course. But that's the minimum I would take and be happy. But yeah, in my opinion, I think they should just Sony should just spin off a Spider-Man. Do just the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Just do it. Why not? Change the script or the plot a little bit and just finish his conclude his Spider-Man arc in that movie, and maybe even do a Tobey Maguire movie or do one movie featuring both. That would be cool. And there's nothing stopping them. They can do it separately with outside the MCU. So I would love to see that. especially with DC supposedly doing multiverse stuff. Um, they should also try and do that. It doesn't have to be in the MCU. Plus, all the productions that Spider-Man are, all the movies that Spider-Man is making, it's always Sony's production, and they're gonna, get paid for it. So, of course, they would love to get paid, right? So why not do it?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really interested in Charlie Cox potentially being in this movie as well.
Yeah, John rumors
that one I think is a little bit far-reaching.
I think he'll be in it.
If they can pull that off, I'll be happy.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx is coming as Electro. Why can't?
But the thing is that Daredevil and all these were under Jeff Loeb, and Kevin Feige didn't have good.
Yeah. Who cares about him? Just bring Charlie.
That's all I want.
Just bring Charlie back into the MCU. Yeah. I want that Daredevil. That's what I want. And Vincent D'Onofrio as Fisk.
Oh.
Just bring those two back in.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a live action Into the Spider-Verse film, since the animated one did pretty well.
I agree.
That's actually my favorite Spider-Man film of all of them.
It's pretty good. I think that's what opened up the idea for this to happen, was that movie and how good it actually was. And that's why Kevin Feige's agreeing to it, and maybe Sony wants the other two Spidey guys to come back.
It's probably like a test.
It all works out, and I think we can all agree. Yeah, it probably wasn't even just a test. It just we're surprised how well that did at the Oscars, at reception, and they're like, "Wow, that wouldn't be a bad idea."
They should have had spin-offs for the Spider-Man Noir and the other characters. With Nicolas Cage, it would have done well.
Yeah, I don't know if full features would have done well, but I definitely would have watched, I think, short films for put out short kind of little mini stories of them.
Cool. I would have watched a full black and white Spider-Man movie.
We would general audiences.
No, I would rather watch a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, everyone was great in that movie.
But we'll move on to the next topic. Is the sound okay, KC? For people saying it was a bit choppy. Yeah. Okay, so next topic is Marvel again, but it's more the Sony side and what they're doing over there. So Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as Kraven the Hunter for a solo movie that's coming out in January 2023, I think. Now, talks of maybe Henry Cavill jumping over there, rumors. Keanu Reeves may be considered as well. Would have been fine choices. Now, Aaron Taylor Johnson is a pretty good actor, and I don't want to hear shit if people have only watched Kick-Ass and Quicksilver. Age of Ultron. Those are.
But those were great too. He was great in that.
Those are general. Yeah, well, he was good, but it's kind of like the argument of Robin Pattinson. People saying he's going to be a shit Batman because he was in the Twilight and Harry Potter. Like, what I'm trying to say is, you should watch their indie work, because that's where you actually get to see how good of an actor these guys are. Like, you just watch Robin Pattinson in Twilight and Harry Potter, Shia LaBeouf in Transformers and Indiana Jones, or you just watch Aaron Taylor Johnson in Kick-Ass and in Quicksilver, Age of Ultron, you're not going to see the full depth that those guys have. If you watch Robin Pattinson in Rover, in Good Time, in Lost City of Z, and Lighthouse, if you watch Shia LaBeouf in Honey Boy or Necessary Dead of Charlie Countryman, stuff like that, if you watch Aaron Taylor Johnson in Nocturial Animal,
he was in that.
Also Savages.
The Amy Adams movie?
Yeah, he's also in.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in that. He's in Tenant as well. If you look at those type of movies, you can see what kind of actors they are. And I think, as an acting point of view, he's brilliant. So if he's a good actor, he can play any character. And this is a character that he can play. He's a big guy. This character is big in the comics as well. 6 foot, massive guy. He's the same in real life. He's a great actor. Basically, this character, Kraven the Hunter, he was the hunter, but then he took a potion, I think, and he gained these kind of powers. So he's like animal powers. He's fast, and his smell is enhanced, stuff like that. He gets tired of hunting animals or prey, so then he wants to hunt superheroes. That's basically what the comic kind of story is of him. Of course, in this, he's going to be an anti-hero like Venom, like Morbius. They'll have kind of sort of redemption stories. So, yeah, I'm digging what they're doing over at Sony with these villain-type movies. Now, I am surprised that they went with Aaron Taylor Johnson because he isn't as big of a star as, say, Michael Keaton was as Vulture, or Tom Hardy was as Venom, or Jared Leto as Morbius. He's not at that height yet. This could be the reason he gets there, but I'm surprised they didn't go for somebody like a Henry Cavill,
Tom
who
Hardy?
already has a huge following. Aaron Taylor Johnson doesn't. Tom Hardy, has they're big actors, Michael Keaton. So I'm surprised at that, but yeah, I'll see how it goes. Looking forward to this. You heard this, Alex. What's your thoughts on Kraven Hunter? Maybe you might have read some of the comics, so you can tell us maybe something extra about him.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just happy that they finally cast him, because this project has been developing hell for years. So I'm glad that they finally found the Kraven. I love this. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's I really don't have any other opinions other than they picked a good guy for this. But again, I just want to know exactly what they're going to do with this story, because we really don't know exactly what's going on. And have they stated when they're going to start filming? Starting this production?
No, not yet. But I'm sure if this was announced recently, so that means they've been in talks with him. This is probably confirmed the last 2 or 3 months, maybe even by January. At the start of the year, this has been the done deal. So I'm sure shortly they'll start filming. Casey, what's your kind of input?
Yeah, I like him as an actor, and I don't know anything about the character. But yeah, he's a good actor, so I think he would do great. And again, I love that Sony is doing all these different characters and possibly building up to something. And I hope that they
Something
something
sinister?
sinister after 6 movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm I go by movie basis, and if you make a great movie, I don't care if it's in a universe or if it's not connected to anything. If it's a good movie, I'll enjoy it. That's it. So that was Venom for me too. I loved Venom, and even though I would have probably made it a little more R-rated or horror or scary, but again, I know what they were going for. They wanted the PG-13 audience, and they wanted to make him likable and funny, and that's the tone they were going for the second movie as well. So I think they have finally set their formula, to say. But yeah, Morbius, the trailer looked great. Jared Leto is in it, so that's something that I'm most excited for. But we haven't heard from that in a while. But yeah, Kraven is also I'm interested in seeing that. I will see all these Sony movies that have to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that like Venom, I thought could have been a little bit more horror, or maybe a little more edgy, a bit more funny than I was thinking, a little bit more light. Morbius looks dark, but that's just the trailers. It could be different when the movie comes out. But that movie was pushed
But it
to
has Leto.
January 2022 because of all the COVID. It has Leto, so I don't think he'd
You
sign
make
up
a good
for.
point there.
He doesn't do much comedy, so I bet you that script is probably a little bit darker. But yeah, so basically what I said about the character is basically what it is. He was a hunter, got these powers, continued to hunt, but then got tired of that and wanted to hunt Spider-Man. That's basically why he seen Spider-Man as the ultimate prize, and he wanted to hunt Spider-Man. And yeah, that's just kind of research I did about him. So there is no Spider-Man.
Yeah, the movie can
and it
just
worked.
create some original story for him, so it doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, true. But I would love to see
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man, maybe Miles Morales or Tony Maguire or Andrew will have to win.
The thing is, though, I don't think these characters are fit for Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think they're more in line with Garfield's.
Yeah, or you just want Andrew Garfield, would you?
Yeah, but still, like, Tom Holland is just a kid now. He's just learning now. What is he gonna do? Fight off Tom Hardy?
Well, I could see, to be honest with you, I could see Venom joining the three Spider-Man to fight the Sinister Six. To be honest.
Yeah,
I could see that
that would be
happening.
cool.
I don't see Tom Hardy turning so bad.
Especially if Venom merges with one of the Spider-Man.
I can't see that.
Not Spider-Man 3, but that'd be just a different way. But look, this movie we'll have to see more from it. But so far, I think the casting of Aaron Taylor Johnson, is pretty good. But I am a bit concerned that he's not a big enough star like a Tom Hardy, like a Jared Leto, to bring in the box office. And if this movie does poorly, Sony, just like DC, were very reactionary too. And like Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, didn't do that well. Critics and reception did well at the box office, but they changed everything and they rebooted again. Spider-Man 3, the exact same thing happened. They rebooted again. I'm not going to say they're going to reboot all these characters, but I'm just saying is that Kraven Hunt will come out. It might not do that well, and we might never see him in the role again. That's all. I'm a little bit.
The first trailer has a lot of writing. I wrote out that he will do well. The first trailer has to be amazing.
It does, and I think. And you know what? Sony did pretty well as well. If you look at Jared Leto's box office, it's not amazing, but he is a big star. But you know what they did that was actually important? Was the Spider-Man Easter egg, and there was Michael Keaton in it as well, which helps. So I think Tom Hardy, who will appear in the next Kraven the Hunter trailer, or Michael Keaton, or Jared Leto, or somebody just a little bit extra in that trailer can definitely help the movie just for the marketing. They don't even have to be in the movie that much, But yeah. So we're all excited for that. So the next kind of topic, which is a pretty popular guy, is Henry Cavill. Been cast
that guy.
In that guy. Henry Cavill he's been cast in the Highlander reboot. Now the Highlander series, there was a few movies. I think there was 3, maybe it was definitely 2. There was also a Highlander series TV show. Now I haven't seen any of them. I have Highlander on my Netflix. I have to watch it. Didn't get a chance today. He's been cast in the Highlander reboot. Two things to talk about: this movie, him being cast in it, but also the chance of him as Superman returning. Is the chance of that decreasing? Which I think it kind of is as well. But Highlander, Henry Cavill is the star of The Witcher. In the last Mission Impossible movie, he's Superman. This is another big role to get, another big kind of genre to get as well. Alex, have you seen the Highlander movie, and what's your kind of thoughts on Henry Cavill? Not many have.
No, I grew up with the Highlander series.
You've seen it? Oh, brilliant. Okay.
I've seen them all. I've seen the series. I used to be a huge fan, so I'm glad just to see him as Connor McLeod for it. I'm trying for who they're gonna pick as the Krugler. The villain for this film. I'm hoping it could be maybe Dave Bautista or Jason Momoa. Mainly Jason Momoa. I think he'll be perfect for that role, especially just to bring back more of that Henry Cavill and Jason Momoa meme back on that forefront. That'll be great for marketing. But for this, it was a little left field. Well, not so much, especially with The Witcher, but this is going to be a risk with the Highlander, because it's a very cultish film out there, but it's not a type of film that everyone will know. You've heard of Highlander, but do you know the story behind it? That's the issue that I have with it. But hopefully, this is a role that he could grow in and actually create a franchise out of it, because there's a lot of potential, especially with the Highlander IP. It's a lot of great stories, a lot of great characters. It was if you've seen the 1986 film, it was pure 80 fantasy medieval bliss, everything that you want. Especially you had Sean Connery as the Spaniard, Sean Connery as a Spaniard, who could have thought? But I'm happy for him, but I'm just a little worried that again this is going to be another risk for him to get into. Because The Witcher was a risk as well. It was known, it's not so well known, it was well known within the gaming community, but not so much for a general audience. But it worked. It's a highly rated series on Netflix, and it was a great suit for him. But for his next blockbuster, I'm hoping this could be great.
Yeah, and can you tell us as well? From what I heard about Highlander is, did it go through different not timelines, different generations, different centuries? Is there something like that?
Essentially, yeah. It's and with the series too. The story is just about immortals that essentially they'll you go out and kill each other for the main prize, but you can't kill on. You could a duel anywhere within the world, but not on holy ground. So you can't fight like in a church, for instance. And
it's like John Wick with the Continental. You can't spill blood in the Continental ground.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But Casey, you heard this news, and I don't think you've seen the movie either, but just kind of give us your thoughts on him joining another kind of big franchise, and if he's the right role for it. And do you think maybe this is showing that his Superman days are?
Yeah, I've thought that for a while now. There's no news about Superman yet, and there was one report.
Wait! I thought there was news about Superman.
Which one?
The other one.
Which other one?
Yeah, no, I can't say. I was trying to make a joke up with you.
I know, which joke were you? Okay, never mind. So yeah, the last time we heard from the studio was the oh, you're saying the Black Superman thing? I was talking about just Henry Cavill, man. But yeah, the last thing I heard was.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, see, I've tried to bring comedy into this show because he doesn't get it. So.
But yeah, the last thing we heard from the studio for Henry Cavill was that bullshit quote. Do you remember? They said something like, "Oh, we have always loved working with Henry Cavill, and we will always cherish working with him," and some sort of bullshit like that, right? When they were asked if there's any Superman future with him. That was their direct quote. And then again, one article came out and there was no quote, but that basically said that his future in a movie would just be limited to cameos. But again, there was no quote with that, so I don't know if it was just another distraction piece or whatever. But I think with all these roles that he's been getting, I think that his Superman days are over for now. Maybe they'll pick him back up in the future, but the thing that the thing that hits me is that he's now super expensive, and they missed out on him big time during Justice League. And then he got Mission Impossible, then he got Witcher, then Witcher Season 2, and then he probably now is in talks to play Bond. There's a lot of stuff happening. He's Sherlock, now he's in Highlander, so he's getting more and more expensive by the day, and you know how Warner Brothers are with their cheap ass. They won't renew his contract. There were already rumors that he was asking more than what they were willing to pay, and now he'll be like rock level massive. So I'm not sure. Like Maher keeps saying, I think his best chance is probably in the Black Adam universe. But other than that, I don't think they would do anything with him.
Yeah, if we believe the rumors about Shazam, it's that maybe there was contract disputes over money and stuff like that. So let's just entertain that argument. Warner Brothers are kind of into a corner, because if they agreed to a contract with him when Shazam was shooting back in 2018, 2017, stuff like that, it would have been cheaper than it's going to be now. His star power is going up every 6 months. The Witcher's coming out. Enola Holmes is a big hit. That's getting a sequel. He's going to have more of a role in that. Talks of him maybe coming back for Mission Impossible, even though I know he was killed off, but nobody ever dies in these movies. MGM has just purchased Amazon has just purchased MGM, I should say, which is James Bond. There's a good chance that he will be the next James Bond to take over for Daniel Craig. So if he gets that, he's going to be one of the most expensive actors in the world if he gets that job, that role. That's just a fact. But I don't think this is the end for him as Superman, getting all these roles. I just think it's the end for him to get his own Man of Steel sequel. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. I think the best chance for Henry, or Justice League, those two aren't going to happen, in my opinion. I think the best way for Henry Cavill to return as Superman is in the Black Adam Shazam verse world, in a cameo, in a small role, something like that. I think that's the best way, because his agent is the same as The Rock. The Rock would love a big marketing tool like Black Adam v Superman. He would love something like that. It's like a WB marketing would be insane. Yeah. I think that's the best scenario. I don't see a Superman sequel. I don't see a Justice League sequel with Henry Cavill as the main lead whatsoever, because the star power is going up and going up. Then again, The Rock has such a work ethic that he's doing a movie every 6 months, 3 months. You know, he jumps to project to project. There's no reason why Henry Cavill can't do the same. And actually, he is doing the same. He just finished The Witcher. He'll be shooting Enola Holmes. He'll be shooting Highlander. He'll be going into, say, let's say James Bond or Witcher 3. You know, stuff like that. So he's working pretty actively as well. So
isn't he also in talks with the that game, Mass Effect?
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, that's the one I was talking to today about. I couldn't think of the name for today. That's it. Yeah, there's another product like that. So he's getting these huge IPs with these kind of really cool characters: a Highlander, a Witcher, Mass Effect. So James Bond, Superman. He's playing characters and he's making them his own. But he also has his own fan base. He builds a PC. Everyone watches it because you know why, and stuff like that. He's really, really likable. So I think he's doing pretty well. But his star power is going up even more for Warner Bros. To even afford for a Superman movie. I don't even think they want to do a Superman movie with him because they have Tennessee Coates' Black Superman film coming, which I'm sure will be fine, but we all want to see Henry Cavill as well. So, yeah, I think the best chance is The Rock and his agent somehow getting them into Shazam 3 or into Black Adam. That's my opinion on that.
No, I'm with you for that. Just the one thing I'm just afraid of, if he actually does get the role for James Bond, it's over.
Yeah. It's gone.
It's done.
Yeah, because
for a franchise like that, your time is now limited. You're on a production that will be extended for 6-7 months out of the whole year, and if you're going to be doing another film that will be that type of production style, you can't. It's only going to be smaller roles, and from there, it's.
And no disrespect to Daniel Craig, he does his own stunts as well, but Henry Cavill. He does his own.
I think it's Daniel's last movie. This one, right?
It is. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait.
Yeah. So I think that's the way we're going to go. But next topic is, or Casey actually do something, but can Joker 2? Like it's going to be announced, but it's not fully announced. It was only in an article with a lawyer. We have a lawyer here who can speak about it as well. So, but Joker first one made $1 billion, won Oscars. I loved it. I want to see a sequel. Some people don't. Casey, take it away.
Yeah, I think. Look, I loved the first movie, and even that movie nobody asked for. So that still came out, and it was great. And even when they announced it, I was super hyped for it. I know people were going like, "How can you do a Joker movie without Batman?" and all that stuff. But I was like. At least they're doing something with it, and it would be interesting because no one has done this before, and I'm always open to new kind of projects like this. So this was a great idea to do, and obviously Top Phillips just went in there and pitched the whole Black Label thing, and they were like, whoa, hold on, let's just start with one, and then we'll see where it goes. And Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers, nothing happened with that. Just Joker came out, and it was a huge hit. So there was literally no way that this was not getting a sequel. The investors, the producers, they wouldn't allow that. It was inevitable. You know, so the thing that it was.
But must there be a Joker 2?
But yeah, look, the fact that it was definitely going to happen doesn't mean that it's going to suck, because Todd Phillips knew that it was going to happen, so he must have started preparing for it. And if he didn't have a great, I mean, he needs to have a great pitch. It's just mandatory now. So he will definitely. I trust him. You know, I know what he's doing. He totally nailed the movie the first time, and he understood the character and, you know, all the nuances with the character. And he even, you know, snuck in the Batman thing in there. He didn't have to have Batman at all, but he still you know, snuck in there. So I love that, and he totally gets the character and, you know, the world. So I trust him. And obviously, you know, not taking anything away from Joaquin Phoenix, he's phenomenal. So I'm all in.
Yeah, I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would sign up to this just for money. Like that's not the type of actor he is. I'm sure money is a big part of it as well. But if he's not going to put himself in a piece of dog shit, you know, he's not going to put himself in a terrible movie. A lot of people laughed when this movie was announced a few years ago. The first one, they laughed at Todd Phillips. The guy from the Hangover movies, old school, is doing this. I always loved those movies like this.
Right.
I like this comedy style. And I thought, well, I fully backed this guy, and I was excited for this movie from day one. Of course, I would have liked Jared Leto to get his own movie as well, but look, I love the character more than I love the actors. So I wanted to see this, and I went in and I loved it. I went to go see it 7 times.
Wow.
That's how much I love this movie, Joe.
Wow.
I just love. I went to go see it. Some days I skipped college just to go watch this movie. I just fucking loved it because he's my favorite character.
Did you see War Dogs?
Joker, and to see a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Yes, on DVD as well. I love
that was a great movie.
Yeah, I like his style and his kind of dark humor, and it suits the Joker as well. So I want this movie to happen. Many people were saying we don't need a Joker 2, and I was like, we don't need any movie.
Exactly.
We don't need any movie.
We don't need any
We don't
movie.
need any people. We don't need another James Bond movie. We've had loads of it. We don't need another Batman movie. We've had loads of it. Like, what kind of... It's made money. It's won Oscars. Of course they're going to make another one. That argument... We don't need a Birds of Prey movie, but still made one. You know, this is the argument that people...
Well...
Look, if the second one is bad,
yeah,
it's bad.
The first one will still be great.
The first one to watch. It's still the first one. And like... Yeah, I know. Alex, take us away there. What's your kind of thoughts? Maybe you're one of these.
He's rolling his eyes.
No, I'm not. I'm going to watch the film. I'm going to watch it. I was a huge fan of the first one. In fact, when we watched it twice in theaters, my wife and I, but not because we loved the film. It was some asshole decided to pull the fire alarm the first showing. And did a phone call at the theater, and the bomb squad and the police came. At the height of the Joker, this film was going to incite violence. Of course, it had to happen in our theater. Yeah. So it was a lot of tension.
You got the full experience.
But luckily nothing happened. But besides the point, for the sequel, like for the story that Todd Phillips told, I thought it was just a singular story, and that's it.
Me
like,
too.
I don't know what else can be said for the sequel, but if he found a story and it's enough to warrant the Joker 2, then I'm all for it. The thing is, I can't see it right now, but once if we get to hear a little bit more of the plot or the teaser or something, or just get a general idea what they're going to be doing, then. I'll be fully on board. Well, I am already fully on board. It's just I don't know anything about it other than the
I also agree with your sentiment there because like you, even the first one I thought was like there was that factor of, was it happening, the whole movie happening in his head, or was only the ending happening in his head, or stuff like that. So having a sequel kind of takes away from that aspect. But it doesn't have to.
Well, you kind of brought up a good point, since the Joker is not the best narrator for his own stories. So the next thing, it could be just his story again, but just like told in a different way, because Joker's origin still is and will always be unknown.
Yeah. The question I have for you guys is:
he's a false narrator.
Do you guys want a Batman to appear somewhere down the line?
No.
I love this question because I'm sure there's...
Before you answer, I would say even no, just like Alex.
You don't want it, or you don't think it's gonna happen?
I don't want it. It will make it
Why?
comic booky, and it will make it a lesser thing than what it is.
I don't want you want it, Alex.
It would take away from the Joker story, because now the focus is going to be Batman, and now it's going to be my Batman-centric story. When This is about Joker and Joker alone. So that's the only fear that I have. Like, I'm glad that they put in the Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne element in the first one, but it was just like a little sprinkle and that's it. But then just putting in Batman, now it's just like Casey's saying, it's elevating the world. It's taking away from the groundedness that it was, and it's putting it into this comic book world that the movie tried to stray away from. Now you have somebody dressing up like a bat, jumping off rooftops.
But I would like
pads,
if they did something with Bruce though, just Bruce Wayne. That would be cool. But you know, having a full-on suit Batman, that I think would kind of take away.
I think there's something pretty cool you can do because Joker's a false narrator. You know, in some fucked up way, he could create a Batman in his mind. It could never be real. But I think there's an interesting thing you could do as well. You could see Bruce Wayne in his teenage years, how this affects him, little bits like that. Maybe it doesn't have to be full on Bruce Wayne scenes, but I think there's something interesting you could do. And by the say the third Joker movie, you don't even have to have Batman, but you could just have one shot of maybe the Joker after doing something absolutely insane at the top of the building. Is the Dark Knight is Batman, and the movie cuts. It's over. Trilogy's over. We've already seen enough Batman movies to see how that goes. The two of them, of course, interesting. You could definitely do with it. And you know, why did Todd Phillips end up putting Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne into his movie and redoing the same scene? Why did he do it? If you look at it, Batman v Superman doesn't work without the Martha Thomas Wayne death scene. That film does not work because of what happens in the third act of Superman. Does the Joker work if you take that scene out? Does it have much of an impact on you as a viewer when you think, okay, he caused some destruction in the city? But if you take out that Wayne scene where they all die, I don't know if it has as much of an effect on the audience as it does when it's in it. So I think there's a reason he put it in there. And even Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, when they were doing press tours back in 2018, they were asked, would you come back for the sequel? And Todd Phillips always said, I wrote it to be a standalone one-off movie. But Joaquin Phoenix was asked, he said, I had so much fun playing this character. If it was right, I would come back. It's an interview. I'm subscribed to the channel. I can't think of it right now. But I was surprised that he said he would come back. And back in 2018, I have tweets where I said, I think we will get more of this Joker. And I think they will bring in a Batman at some stage. I think this is the creation of another Batman. Because like if they're bringing Ben Affleck back and Michael Keaton and Robert Pattinson's getting his own thing, they have animated Batman shows and they had Gotham and they have Gotham PD. Like, who's to say that they won't bring another Batman into this universe? And this is $1 billion franchise right now. Batman v Super. You know, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, no chances that Robert Pattinson in a pandemic, his movie will make $1 billion. Joker's that type of movie. It just has something different about it. And it's not a Batman movie, but you can still have Batman in it, and people kind of love it. I'd be all for it. I'm not against the idea until I see the idea. You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. I'll have to see, but this isn't fully confirmed yet. This was just in an article about the most profitable lawyers, I think, in America or in the Hollywood or something like that. And one of his clients was Todd Phillips. And this is the deal that he was able to strike. This is one of the deals, which was to sign off a deal between Warner Brothers and Todd Phillips to come back to write a Joker 2. So there's no reports that the co-writer of the first Joker, which is Scott Silver, there's no reports that he'd come back yet. There's no reports that Joaquin Phoenix has signed on. The only report we have right now is that Todd Phillips is working on a script. So this movie could be ages away. It might never happen. This could fall apart. This is just, it's not fully confirmed yet. So we have to take that into account as well. But we'll all watch it, of course.
Duh.
You know? Yeah. But yeah, exactly. So look, the next piece of news we have is from the Flash movie and also Zack Snyder's world. And it doesn't look like anytime soon that the Snyderverse is going to be restored. Warner Bros. Don't really like Zack. Zack is talking about this. Happy over at Netflix. Looks like he's going to have loads of movies coming out through Netflix, prequels, Army of the Dead and stuff like that. But his VFX guy who worked on the Snyder Cut, his VFX team, are working on The Flash. And did an interview, good interview actually, with Grace Randolph and Beyond the Trailer. Pretty good. It's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Very insightful. Talking about their process. They've also worked on Godzilla vs. Kong, worked on Flash. Zack Snyder's just like with John Jardin, because his nickname is DJ, is it? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Or is it
his
nickname, Kissy? Yeah. So Yeah, he's friends with Zack Snyder. So John DeJargen, the VFX supervisor who has worked with Zack on several occasions, said that he was losing interest in the DCEU until Andy and Barbara Marchetti presented him with the script for The Flash. So basically, he was pissed off at Warner Bros. Like completely turned off the DC universe because of what happened with JL-17. He had to go back and do the additional scenes that Josh Whedon wanted. The original movie was thrown out, and then he had to come back and do the Snyder Cut, which took like 6 or 7 months just non-stop of work. So he was done. He was tired. He didn't want to work on it anymore. But he got the script from the director and his producer, and he read it, and it made him sign on. But it also made Ben Affleck come back. It also, you know, Ray Fisher was going to be in it as well until other stuff happened. So the Flash script might be good. It might be better than we think, and it might not be resetting the DC universe. And he did say that it's Zack Snyder's Flash that's in the Flash movie. So, what's your thoughts on this, Casey?
Yeah, I wasn't as excited for this movie because, you know, it's a DCU movie, and I just go in very cautiously. But again, the thing about this movie has always been like there has been so many problems, but I also kept saying that the problems all were before the shooting started, and so that shouldn't have any well, not any, but that shouldn't have much effect on the final product. So yeah, I still think that this movie would be good, and now hearing them speak about this, because you know, recently when we heard that he signed on for this project, all of us, you know, raised our eyebrows, and we were like, oh, Zack Snyder's guy is joining too, and we were like, maybe this is not resetting, you know, the Snyderverse or anything like that. And then of course, Ben Affleck is signed on, and Ezra Miller is there. Ray Fisher also agreed before, and the script seems to be this magical thing that everyone's just listening or reading to it, and you know, agreeing to doing this movie, and that's a pretty good thing, right? So keeping yeah,
The script is the key.
so keeping all that in mind, and especially what he said he mentioned that it was gonna be Zack Snyder's Ezra Miller's Flash from Justice League, and of course they're gonna make some changes because he'll have a new suit, and that's always gonna be the case. Even when Zack was on, he said that the suit would be the director's you know, job to do, and he's not gonna do that. So I think that I think his suit would be. I think the logo reveal we saw, I think that was this, you know, the chest piece of his suit. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about the whole yellow lines thing, but maybe it will look better on screen. And I also think that with his new suit, I think he'll have some kind of absorbing quality to the suit that, you know, prevents the lightning to go all over the place. So that's probably going to be fixed, and I'm now kind of excited for this movie because the script seems good, and if the script is good, then the movie, there's a 50% chance that the movie will be good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just to read the full quote on the screen right now from DJ. When Andy and Barbara wanted to meet me to talk about this, considering the script that I read, I understand exactly what to say yes to. That's coming from somebody who was burnt out about what Warner Brothers were doing to their staff, their creative teams, but the script made him sign on. Alex, what do you think of that?
And he also said that he heard about the previous two scripts and he didn't want to do that. But he heard about this script and he signed on. So there's a lot of things he said that he probably, you know, kind of hinted at us saying that, no, this is a good one. You got to check it out.
Yeah, no, if we can make Ben Affleck, who was burnt from Justice League, who dropped out of Batman, his dream project, to come back into the Batsuit, other than just doing that favor for Zack Snyder's Justice League, but just to go back for a Warner Brothers project said something about the script. So there's something here that it's going to appease everyone, whether you're a Flash fan, whether you're a fan of the Snyder Cut and Zack's World, and anything of DC altogether, since this will be bringing the DC multiverse together to fruition that we were teased with the CW's crossover way back when the both Flashes met together.
Yeah. It's look, people are annoyed online, and I can see why they're annoyed over Ray Fisher, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And but Ray Fisher doesn't want to work under Walter Hamada unless he gets an apology and stuff like that. And he was pushed out of the movie and out of the script, which I don't want either. I would love to see Cyborg in it. I hope by the time this movie is near enough finished, it gets resolved so you can have a cameo or something like that. I hope, hopefully. But at the end of the day, this movie is going to get made. The Snyder Cut movement, no offense, isn't going to impact the box office that much. This movie, if you boycott it, you can boycott it if you want. That's okay, but it's not going to impact it financially in a way, because globally this movie is coming out, and
you were the first one to hashtag release a Snyder Cut, right?
Yeah.
Wait, it was you?
Okay. No, just clearing it up.
I'm not having to go with people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I understand.
To boycott something unless you get everybody to boycott something, because there's always going to be somebody that has a little bit of interest in it. Even if they don't say it online, they're going to go see it. I can guarantee you, every single person that says they're not going to watch it, some of them are definitely going to watch the movie, at some stage. So look, I understand why, and fair play to people. I'm not having a go at people who are boycotting the movie. That's your choice. That's fine. I want to watch it because I love these characters. I like Andy Muschietti as a director. I'm not going to see Walter Hamada in the movie.
Yeah,
he won't be on screen. Thousands of people work on this. Exactly. I think it would be disrespectful for someone who liked the Snyder Cut, who liked Batman v Superman, to be not go see a movie by John Desjardins, who worked in the visual effects for this movie. I think it'd be disrespectful for me, someone who loves the Snyder Cut, who loved Ezra Miller, who loves Ben Affleck, loves Michael Keaton. I just don't think it would sit right for me as a fan to miss out on this movie because of one guy in a suit who's a piece of shit who won't be there in 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about that as well, those things are public. How many movies have you guys seen, or have I seen, where an executive producer, president of the studio has been a real dick and done some terrible things, but we don't know about it. We never know about it. But let's say The Dark Knight, for example, or Dawn of the Dead, or Mad Max, or John Wick. I'm sure somebody worked in all those movies who was just a dickhead. You know what I mean? We will never know about it, but we love the movie anyway. You know that kind of way? Kind of hard. It's hard to stand where to stand in these movies.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. My thing is that if I'm interested in a movie, if it's genuinely appealing to me, I'll watch it. Because, like you said, thousands of people work on this, and it's just because of one person. I don't wanna, punish the 1,000 people who work really hard. For some of them, it's like career making or breaking. Maybe some people come from small families, and this is their big break and all that. So thinking about all that, I don't think it's justified for me to just because of one executive. I don't think it's justified for me to boycott this movie. Especially because look, if I'm indifferent to it, I will just say that. I'm not saying that this movie will be great, or I'm totally excited for it, because honestly I'm not. And just that these things that I'm hearing makes me a little bit more excited, and my excitement was 0%. So right now it's increasing, so that's good.
Yeah, Alex, man. No, I'm saying sentiment all around. I'm excited for this film. I will watch it. I'm not going to be discouraged because of one executive that is may not be totally involved within the full production for this. Especially just hearing from the interview from DJ with Grace, he even mentioned the culture has changed a bit since the production of Justice League. So even from him, who would want to stay away from working on any DC movie, just stating that it is different, whether it's because of Andy Muschietti and the way he's conducting his crew and his production, or the suits are finally just stepping away. We'll see, but if someone like that who got burnt is willing to come back and is already stating out in the public that there has been a change, and working with DC is I wouldn't say enjoyable, but they're at least willing to work on the production full force. Then that's a good sign of just moving forward for this universe. But now, for those who just want to boycott this just because they want to support Zack and Zack's vision, that this will discourage it, because if somehow, some way, the movement does multiply to affect a box office, for instance, and crashes and burns the Flash and maybe Black Cat or Aquaman 2 and the next Wonder Woman. Those were Zack's creations, and if those movies do fail and they reboot everything, then everything that he's created is now replaced with a new template, and that's something I don't want to see, and that's why I'm supporting the Flash, because that is Zack's Flash. You're going to see me supporting the Suicide Squad, because those character designs were from Zack and from David Ayer as well, and you can even tell that film is borrowing still those elements from the first Suicide Squad, so it is giving that respect. But if boycott is what you want, you got to suffer the repercussions if it doesn't become if it is successful, because it will go against what it is that you want in the end.
Yeah.
Like Annie Machete, we don't know what kind of vibe he brings on set. I'm sure it's a good one. You know, I didn't hear any trouble from the It movies, either Chapter 1 or Chapter 2. He could look at what happened with Warner Bros. The last few years and say, "I'm not going to let that happen in my movie. I'm not going to let it happen." And I hope that's the way that he's conducting behavior on set and stuff. I'm sure Walter Amada isn't there every single day being a real dick. I'm sure Andy Machete is doing his own thing, trying to make his own movie. And Kiersey Clemens is going to be in it as well, and stuff like that. But it is a shame that Fisher's not going to be in it. Supergirl as well. There's so there's so many cool stuff to look forward to for this movie. But like I am sad that Ray Fisher's not in it, of course. Yeah. But Ray Fisher has even supported the movie. He's never said don't go see it.
Yeah.
Good for us. He said he had a great relationship with Andy Machete, the stuff they talked about. And like Andy Machete, looked like his hand has been forced to kind of take Ray Fisher out of the script. But I hope he fights for him some way to get him in, even just as a cameo. I think it'd be sweet.
It would be.
So we'll have to wait and see. But I want to see the movie, and I will go see it. That's just my standpoint. I know people disagree, but yeah, I don't want to fight with anybody over it. I'm going to go see it. You won't. That's fine. I'll respect it.
No, that's your opinion. That's great. I respect it.
And if the first trailer comes out and doesn't look appealing to me, I won't see it. So, well, maybe I will see it, but I'm not even that interested.
The only thing is just the concept art.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if the trailer comes out and it's marketed in a way that it looks like it's resetting the Snyderverse, then I'm not going to go see it.
Yeah.
But I'm respectful and see the trailer first and stuff like that. But I actually don't think that he's trying to be disrespectful. I don't think Andy Machete wants to make his name off resetting what Zack Snyder did, because that's not going to help you down the long run. I think he wants to make a good Flash movie.
From his quotes, I think he said in one of his quotes, I think was, we are trying to do something that is inclusive of everything in the DC universe. So everything that has happened exists, and everything that is happening in this movie also exists. So I don't know how much he understands the Flash lore, but that's a pretty good starting point.
Yep. If he opens up the multiverse in that standpoint, I hope they bring back Shaq Steele.
Yeah, that's what we all want. But one movie that is out and that's doing pretty badass is Army of the Dead. And Army of the Dead is number 1 on Netflix. I think in 82 countries. That's the website that I kind of got it on. Got it off as 82 countries. And one of the most successful films for the service ever for Netflix. That's what it's projected to be. 72 million views over 4 weeks, up there with movies like Extraction, the Russo brothers Chris Hemsworth movie, Old Guard with Charlize Theron, the Midnight Sky, George Clooney, stuff like that.
I'm
Murder Mystery
surprised
Alexander.
at Midnight Sky, actually.
Yeah, that film is visually good, but it should have focused on George Clooney and the little girl more instead of the other side characters, which were just boring. But anyway, Army of the Dead is going to be a huge hit. There's a prequel coming, and there's a series coming. There's two prequels: a movie, live action movie about theater, and animated movie, which series that Zach showed us a picture of earlier on the Twitch stream, which looks like the Telltale Walking Dead game.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that. But it's number one. Netflix released the numbers yesterday, something that HBO Max and Warner Media wouldn't do, that it's projected to make 72 million views over 4 weeks, which is awesome. So a sequel will happen. This universe is probably going to be the first MCU-type universe for Netflix, which is something that they've been wanting for a very long time. So I'm happy. Love the movie. I've watched it every night since it came out. I love zombies. Love Zack Snyder. So I love this movie. But Alex, you got to see it, and what was your thoughts on Army of the Dead and these numbers coming out?
No, one, the numbers are phenomenal. I know they're some discussion. Was it 72 million within a week? Is that projected? Regardless of what it is, it's all good in the end. This is a brand new IP. Zombies of all things, because right now nobody really cares so much on zombies. If this was 5-10 years ago, different story. But you're getting a new zombie flick that is doing phenomenal, especially right before the summer, and it's not during the horror season around October, September. Says something about not only the film but also the fan base behind Zack Snyder. The film, I fucking enjoyed it too. It was a great ride from beginning to end. I loved all the characters behind it. When Zach casted her and just seeing her character on screen, I freaking loved it. Freaking loved her. Because of that, I took out my flight suit. I was gonna put on, but then I'm like, yeah, I can't because it's for another IP, so I'd rather not. I'm just not talking about my Ghostbusters flight suit.
Awesome.
Yeah, but no.
As you said,
no, it's great, and the crazy thing about it is it's not just a zombie film. Zach just threw in everything from aliens to different sci-fi. You got robots, where the robots controlled by the government. With the aliens, is there time travel? So there
is
so much packed in 2.5 hours. And of course, it's about love and family in the end.
Yeah, but look, Netflix, it doesn't matter what the numbers were. It just shows Netflix fully backs Zack Snyder and the movie if they're willing to come out and say 72 million people watch this movie or will watch this movie.
No, not only fully back them, the marketing behind Army of the Dead is crazy. Every day is something new. For this film, everyone is talking about it. Usually for a Netflix type film, the talk is maybe for a day, and that's it. You got the buzz for a full day. With Army, it's been every day on the day, and it's not just because of Zach's fandom. You're getting people outside of the fandom talking about it, and even yesterday had Seth Rogen praising the film out of the blue. Yeah. So.
It didn't have a huge star an Extraction had Chris Hemsworth Thor.
Yeah.
I know Dave Bautista is Drax, but he's covered in makeup. Not everybody would really recognize him that much and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, the one with Mark Wahlberg did pretty well enough, but Mark Wahlberg's a known star. He's been around for absolute years and stuff like that. The Murder Mystery had Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, two huge stars around the world. So those movies that are in the top 10, George Clooney's a big star as well. Those movies that are in the top 10 all have a huge star attached to them.
The star was Zach.
Yeah. But no disrespect to Dave Bautista, but he's just not that usually known yet.
No, because the thing is with Dave, he's never led a film, so this was his opportunity to show his chops, and kudos to Zach for seeing that in Dave, because he rocked it, because you saw that little tease of what Dave can do with a Blade Runner 2024-7, and seeing that, I'm like, is that Dave? I couldn't believe. I could not believe it, even though it was a 5-minute performance. That impacted me, and that's something that I remember every time I think about that film. which is a great film all around. But when I think Blade Runner, I think about that one scene with Dave Bautista, and now he just let his first film essentially, and it's number one in the world.
Yeah, and like with Blade Runner 2049, that didn't do well at the box office. Not many people would have seen that, and not many people care about who the director is of a movie. The general audience is stuff with a lot of people who just sit down and watch a movie. You see, how big is the 72 million being projected out into the universe to public knowledge? How important is that for the universe?
Yeah, I don't think, like you said, I don't think the views or how many households are watching matters that much. The fact that they are willing to, so anytime they do this with any movie or any show, giving out numbers and it's top 10 or top 5, stuff like that, it's because they want to use that as a promotion tool, right? So if it's successful, they'll promote it more so that they can build around it, a franchise or whatever. So this already has a franchise and there are 2 things already attached to it. So they didn't need to do all this, but still, they did it because they want to, capitalize on it as much as they can. So they have so many videos coming out, so many interviews, so many different types of things with cast and Zach especially. So I think it's all good, and it was number 1 globally, and we saw how fans were sending us screenshots from their own countries where it was number 1. That was great to see, and also Netflix also put out a poster with the number 1 globally thing, and some actors shared that on Twitter, so that's also good and good visibility. So I think it's great. But the number I don't think matters. Although I do hope that it ends up being in the top 5 because Netflix doesn't do this often. But I think for the past 2 years, or at least the past year, I think they did the top 10 lists for their best movies, top popular movies, popular shows, and all that stuff. So if it ends up on one of those lists, that would be a great win. And I think it will.
It will.
Yeah. So it's awesome, man. It's cool to just see them support Zack Snyder. So I want Zack to be happy, and I want him to make awesome movies. And this was an awesome movie, and he does seem happy. So why not continue working with?
And I also think that they did this because of the HBO Max thing too. Like that was an issue with HBO Max, right? That they didn't release the numbers, or they didn't even call Zack after that.
Yeah, no, that is something just internal because, to be honest, I'm just gonna be like a nihilist or like a pessimist just with what's going on with the Army and with Netflix just going crazy with marketing for it. To be honest, Zach was given $90 million and he came in way under budget. Yeah. So let's say there was like an extra $15 million on the table on top of already, let's say the $5 or $10 million that Netflix was willing to put in for marketing. They have a good amount of money that they can now just go crazy and just promote.
That's a great point.
But no, and that's great for Zach too as well. It showcases he's somebody that will keep it to a budget and also turn on something that's quality, because a film and that caliber, it looked great on not only on the big screen but also on TVs as well, minus a couple of dead pixels that people picked out. But everything that happened with HBO, honestly, I'm feeling now more than ever, because originally I did fear that maybe the numbers were not what they were expecting, or it did hit expectations, or just right below expectations. But they could have at least mentioned something. Yeah. But in the end, it's something that's internal, that they don't want to promote this more, because if it was successful, then there would have been an uproar, and it will come down to anything that HBO is going to be doing that now and forever. The next press junket for anything that they're going to be producing or releasing, they will be asking them or will you be doing Justice League 2? Is this going to be an HBO Max special? Is this going to be now moving towards Warner Brothers? Are you guys going to be doing the production? Because look at the numbers. and I feel that they're afraid for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it is a success. Everything that's been going on that HBO has been marketing currently about the streaming service, you're still seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League as a top performing film, a top search film, one of the most viewed. So, like, come on, like, show us the numbers.
In their latest, Latin America release, they also had that poster with, good engagement and all that. And they mentioned that it was a popular HBO original. So they do admit that it was popular, but they just don't want to, market that.
Yeah, look, on Netflix's announcements, it looks like a little shade towards HBO Max as well. To put out a big post like that and say how well Army did. HBO Max didn't do that. Warner Media didn't do that. All this promotion for Zack Snyder's Justice League in terms of YouTube videos, breakdowns, interviews and stuff like that. HBO Max did a little bit of it, but they didn't do a lot. They did a lot more.
They didn't do a lot for everything that HBO Max did. Like, I loved the marketing that they did for it, but it was directed towards us. It was mostly for the fans, and it didn't reach out to the general audience. Whereas what you're saying with Netflix, that is a general audience appeal. Like, you didn't see Zach on Conan or The Late Show for the Snyder Cut. You didn't have anything for talk shows, but you're seeing that now for Army. And to Zach's credit, he's using that opportunity to promote Zack Snyder's Justice League, because with The Late Show, it was the Snyder Cut of The Late Show.
How amazing was that?
Netflix is marketing the Snyder Cut more than what HBO Max and Warner Brothers has done the past couple of weeks than HBO has done these past few months. It's insane, and it kind of showcases that this is more of a internal situation than anything else. That it wasn't that successful, blood. And Zach is using this as an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly, and like the thing about that as well, because I think Warner Media were also trying to promote the Snyder Cut, but also not promote the Snyder Cut because they didn't want all the bad eggs to get out there about really what this movie was and how different. Maybe that's why he wasn't on late night talk shows and stuff like that. But it's funny how Stephen Colbert and Zach had to make a skit about it and talk with Warner Brothers and stuff like that, which was pretty funny. But
but it's for all those, it's a parody. It's like Warner Brothers do not use this as like for every HBO or Warner Brothers tweet that comes out. Don't put that hashtag.
I know people were, excited to see him say that, but to me, the whole skit was even more funny because it was directed by Zach, right? So he was so self-aware in that, and he was making jokes about slow motion and all that stuff. I loved so much. Even the title sequence,
that green screen table, great. I'm surprised no one's done photoshops of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Actually, I feel a lot of potential behind it. Casey, let's do it.
Let's do it. And also the interplay between, the way it was cutting between Zach and Steven. Like, Steven would say something like, "Oh, he just had some little things to say," and then Zach would like, "Everything needed to change." And, it was just so funny.
Yeah. Or. Steven's the only guy who actually lost body mass.
That was hilarious.
It was really well done, and fair play to Zach for participating in that. And it's only it's a skit as well, but
it was all Zach, and it was directed by Zach, and he knows what he knows what fans, he knows why fans gravitate towards him. He knows his style and what fans love from his style. So I love that.
And why people hate him.
And why people hate him. The title sequence was the perfect thing to say that, because it turned dark and there was thunder, lightning, rain, all that stuff. So it was amazing.
We also have Naveen in the comics. Naveen was on the stream watching Army the Dead earlier. Got to speak with Zach, which was pretty awesome. So good to have you here, Naveen. So
hey, Naveen.
Dead, #1 globally, right? Also, project Netflix's most popular movie ever in 4 weeks. So that's pretty awesome. Thumbs up towards Netflix for promoting the movie, releasing it, greenlit and spin-offs and sequels and prequels and all that kind of stuff. Probably get an Army of the Dead too. And it's a good time to be a Zack Snyder fan. So I'm happy for Zack Snyder. We're all happy as well. We have one more topic to talk about, and then we can finish the show with loads of topics to talk about this week. And I know it's not something, but so Amazon, who seem to have their toes and everything, that's saying toes and everything, their hands and everything. I don't know. Have purchased MGM Studios. Now, MGM Studios is the studios who are iconic. It's the big roaring lion at the start of every movie. So Rocky, Creed, RoboCop, James Bond, of course, for 8.45 billion. That's just ridiculous money. I honestly think most of that billion is for James Bond because that's the biggest IP that they probably have. Like Rocky,
that was mostly for that.
yeah. And but Rocky is big, but Sylvester Stallone's not going to come back for a Rocky movie. And if you were to reboot Rocky, I don't think it would do as well, maybe as a movie. Creed is living on with Creed, but stuff like that. But RoboCop has been a failure at the box office the last while, like the movies and stuff like that. But it just hasn't been doing well. I'd like to see a series, of course, on Amazon, stuff like that. But yeah, this is ridiculous. Like Amazon bought this studio. Now, James Bond side of things, it will still hit theaters. The people who own James Bond have come out in a statement and said that it's still going to be a theatrical movie. That doesn't mean, though, that Amazon don't want spin-offs of James Bond and series of James Bond, some characters in that world for Amazon exclusively. I think that's going to happen. We could get maybe spin-offs of Rocky, RoboCop, stuff like that. We just don't know what's going to happen, but this is insane. A few years ago, the first to do it were Disney, who bought Fox. Then we have Discovery coming in and purchasing Warner Media, HBO Max, and stuff like that. Now we have Amazon getting in on the game too. And it won't be too long, I'd say, until Netflix make an inquiry about somebody to buy, So that's just the way things are going right now. But Amazon, in fair play to them, they have released movies in theaters as well. It's not just like they're taking a studio and putting all that stuff onto the streaming service. They're very respectful. They put movies into the theaters for a few weeks and then they put them on Amazon. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So, Casey, what's your thoughts on MGM being purchased, one of the most famous studios of all time being purchased by Amazon? Is this the end, or is it just adapting to the money world that we're in right now?
Yeah, I think it's a great deal. Actually, I think that they got it for a good price because 8 billion is like 9 Bond movies, and they'll recover that.
Chump change.
Yeah.
We all have 8 billion sitting around the house.
9 Bond movies, and they'll recover that back, probably. So, it's not that big of a deal. I think. I think they got a good deal, especially because they have this much IP, and I think they also have some TV shows like Fargo, and I guess Fargo is under that, and some other TV shows. So that's a good deal actually. So Amazon will be making great content with that, and I hope that they go ahead and buy some more studios. I don't know who they'll go after next, but it's just funny because Sony just came out and randomly said that Sony CEO confirms that they're not selling Sony Studios yet. Like nobody asked. Not Sony Studios, Sony Pictures.
Well, Apple has WWDC coming up in the next couple of weeks. They might announce that they just bought Sony.
Yeah, it's.
I was literally like Sony saying, "We're not for sale yet."
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone comes in.
So yeah, I think it's a good deal, and it's it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Alex, do you think they're going to devalue the name of James Bond if they make spin-off series or prequels or stuff like that for Amazon exclusively?
On the quality, because the IP is valuable. It is a type of a franchise that could have a potential spin-off. So, kind of as a TV series, it doesn't have to be based around Bond itself. It could be on MI6. It could be on Q. It's a lot of things you can do within that universe, or even it could be focusing on the American side as well, like working with a Bond. And I don't think it would devalue it per se. It could actually revitalize interest into the Bond franchise, because the interest has been there. It's always been strong, but then also lately with every Bond series, with every new Bond, there's excitement in the beginning, but then it just deteriorate within the end. So hopefully this could help them just push forward, because Bond has been one of the only series that has kept to its core aesthetics ever since the beginning. Because it's always been the same. It's just the British spy, a womanizer, handsome, quirky gadgets. You got Q. You got these crazy villains, whether they're like, in a volcano with a cat, something, and everything's like, world ending. But it's always been the same with everything, and they never even changed it. And they've always spoke about they may have a girl Bond, or a Bond that's a different ethnicity. And also with Daniel Craig, that was a huge change, because Bond hasn't really been blonde haired in the films. It's always been someone looking like Pierce Brosnan, for instance. That was like the only big change, and even then, that was like caused an uproar within the Bond community. So I'm seeing good things for it, but I'm more excited on the other IP that MGM has that needs loving, and that of course is RoboCop. Been a fan ever since I was a kid. Loved the films. Loved the series that they had, the limited series of the cartoon. The new movie, they tried, but that's a film, especially within our time, will be great. Especially just bringing back to that hard satirical view of of our world. It was something that was a great that director brought in. Peter Weller was phenomenal as RoboCop, and a little tidbit, he was my professor back in Syracuse. So that was kind of cool that RoboCop taught me ancient history at one time.
That's pretty interesting, because I've seen a few RoboCop movies, but I was never really invested into them. So it's interesting to hear that insight from you. But yeah,
they might do a Bond cinematic universe.
You never know. I just hope that it doesn't devalue Bond, because there's so many different versions of Batman out there and stuff, and Superman, and Bond is a very unique IP, because it just makes a movie every 4 or 5 years. Different actor plays it then maybe every decade. That's something pretty unique and something interesting to have, but that might change in the next 5 or 6 years. It'd be interesting to see if James Bond, the IP, can adapt to that, and if its hardcore audiences like it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, but even though they bought MGM, they have kept the MGM studio. It's not like they're adding that to Amazon Studios. They're still having the MGM division, so I don't think much will change, but MGM will definitely get more resources to make stuff. So that would be good.
And they when it hits theaters, and then when it finishes its theatrical run, it'll probably hit Amazon quicker, which is better for us fans of Amazon as well. You don't have to wait too long to watch. Yeah, you won't have to wait too long to watch the movie again. So that's probably a benefit to it. But yeah, that's all of our topics here today. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. I want to thank KC, my co-host, for all the text and images and things like that going on the stream, because without him, there will be no show. Not like KC. And also, we had a very special guest, our 4th guest on Real Talk Live. You get the number 4, Army of the Dead, 4, everyone. Series.
Careful with the numbers. He said this is going to be at 3 o'clock at Eastern time.
yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. But Alex, I want to thank you very much for coming on to the show. And also, your wife is pregnant as well.
Yeah, we're 5 months.
Want to wish you the best of luck with that as well.
Thank you. We can't wait. Should be due October 11th. So
awesome.
Time's are ticking. I haven't lost any hair yet. So
you can bring the baby to go see Dune. That'll be a great experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also you can get our. I'm doing the outro.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I also want to thank you, man. We've been talking about doing this for a very, very long time, and finally it happened. So thank you for coming.
I know.
And
thank you for inviting me.
It was fun.
Yeah, thanks very much. We also have our social media pages. They're there. I don't know where it is on my screen, but at the Real Talk Live on Instagram and Twitter, where all the latest movie news and information goes up. Also, you get links to our videos when they also go up. And the YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. But also, for every single live stream that we do, we extract clips. So the Cruella review will be its own video, the Army of the Dead discussion, the MGM discussion, Spider-Man 3. We'll take it out. You don't get to watch the show live or the full show. Just go on the YouTube channel and you can watch the 4 or 5 minute clip. It's an easy way to catch up. So that's something cool that me and Casey have decided to do. And it seems to be doing well so far, Casey.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching, and stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video, next stream. We'll have new guests as well. Something that we're trying to do. So.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.